Today we're washing a 10-footer and a 12-3. Let's go!
Y'all, check it out. We got a couple of grown-up gators to wash today. Now, we hunted with the G3 Outfitter boys in Florida. Uncle Bud and his wife Debbie shot two fantastic gators, hence the 10-1 and the 12-3. Now, I've had so many questions through the years about what pot do you use to boil your skulls in. I'm going to slide the link in the description. I had never been able to find them because they weren't listed online. We got in contact. Long story short, the pots are now available. First things first, I'm going to put as much of that gator noggin as I can down in the water, and I'm going to bring it to a boil with a little dish soap to help things degrease. Now, I'm not necessarily taking grease out of the bone as I am separating the grease from the water, if that makes sense. We're gonna boil until we get things loosened up, and then I'm gonna take a hot water power washer that's about 1500 psi commercial, and then I'm gonna start spraying into every hole and every orifice. Anywhere there is meat or tissue, make it go away. Let's get to washing, y'all. I cannot stress enough how long a big gator head washing project goes. So I've boiled to loosen things up. I separated the jaw from the top of the head, and then I'm just doing this at 20 times faster. I'm doing it in fast forward to show you just how much goes into it, even though you can't really get your head around the time. This is probably 2 or 3 hours of spraying. It's really critical on a gator to get all the way up the nose, in and around those eye sockets, the very micro brain hole, but most importantly, trying to spray around the bottom of the mouth and the teeth. It is very difficult to not just shoot those teeth out and just have them fly away. I do the best I can, but there's always going to be the time where you glue a few teeth back in. Just when one goes out, stop what you're doing, find it, stick it in a jar, and deal with it later. One other side note, it is actually more common than not to have the jaw break into two pieces right there at the seam of the front of the mouth. That's not a problem. Just make sure you're washing around all those areas and you're not crushing those bones. The jaw will go right back together just like any puzzle or erector set. Just get her cleaned and keep on moving. This is the animal that helped me coin the phrase spray into every hole and every orifice. I cannot tell you how much stuff is in that jaw and in that nasal cavity. So that was the 10-footer. Let's do the 12.3 in fast forward. All right, y'all, that completes step number 1. Now, I just cleaned both skulls and it literally took like 6.5 hours. So I just put them down in a tub. I put a little splash of peroxide in there, some dish soap, filled it up full of water, and I just let them sit. They actually sat for a couple of days because I couldn't get to them. Now I want to do what I call the Whitebone mix or the color batch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that same product that's in that bucket. So some peroxide, some water, some dish soap. I'm going to bring it to a boil and I'm going to sort of simmer off whatever's left on that skull. I'm going to wash into every single area. That peroxide will help loosen up a bunch of excess debris. It will absolutely help degrease. It's going to make it bright white. And this process could take another couple of hours. You want to get it to a point where you like the finished look. You also want to make sure you're not getting to a point where that bone feels rough. If it starts to feel rough, then most of the time it becomes a chemical burn. So many people just want a straight answer on how much peroxide for how long, and I can't give you that answer because it varies completely by animal, species, age. It's one of those things you're going to want to work with and just keep an eye on as you're doing the process. Once I've got everything clean, I set it in front of a fan to dry. Then I simply glue in teeth, and then at the 24-hour mark, once everything is dry, I put on a coat of Mop and Glow, I let them dry, and this is what the finished product looks like.
Okay, here's the difference between a 10-1 and a 12-3 alligator. The difference is just like staggering. The weight and everything that goes with it. Some of the places that you really have to focus when you're doing these skulls is everything that's up underneath here. The nasal cavity that runs through here, and then this little tiny brain hole and all the stuff that's in there. Really cool looking skull. Thank you for watching. Now we're gonna go deliver. Okay.